Hey, you there! I want to remind everybody that if you end up liking this video, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. And right now, YouTube says that over 90% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, so it would really help, and with that... Hello everybody, I'm Joel Homie, your guys' host for another great episode of the Joel Homie Show series, Minecraft Monday. Now, today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I want to tour another build, but it's not a build that's actually complete and finished. It's rather actually not even a build. It's more a transformation that is still a work in progress. So here in front of me is the mountain base. Well, at least that's what it was before. Now it is called the MLJ Chess, the Mountain Lab Joel Homie Show. Of course, because I'm Joel Homie, the host of Joel Homie Show, so the Joel Homie Show owns the mountain base, or, well, mountain lab now. Okay, so a really quick interruption. I want to give a little bit of context to this video. So originally this whole entire thing was actually being planned out around episode 6, and that's when the idea actually originated. And episode 8 of this Minecraft Monday series was actually supposed to be the episode where I construct and show the final product of the conversion from the mountain base to the MLJ Chess, or the Mountain Lab, owned by the Joel Homie Show. And that ended up being a scrapped idea because this project ended up being a lot larger and a lot more expensive as for resources than I expected. So I said, whatever, that was probably never going to happen anyway, I'll just scrap the idea. And then I planned to make a video on actually taking a look at the full and complete version, but it ended up being a lot more complicated, and obviously the mountain base was built when I was sort of like a noob in Minecraft, and I based it off of that design even towards later dates. So complications came up, it took a lot of time to actually work things out, and I scrapped that idea as well, and now we're in sort of like this weird situation where I'm going to be making a video showing you what I have done so far, and I'm really proud of what I have done so far. I've used some of the 1.16 blocks and just new things that have been put into the game. And I will eventually be making a video actually touring all of the nitty-gritty and the full and complete version of the MLJ Chess, or the Mountain Lab, once it is complete. But enough of me rambling, I'll go ahead and let you guys get back to the video. Anyway, today's episode, I want to walk through this and actually show you guys what I have done so far, because certain parts of the mountain base were definitely not designed for being transformed this heavily. And I still don't know how I'm going to do a lot of the transformation when it comes to actual lighting and a bunch of redstone related things. But overall, I want to go ahead and go over, I believe, the first 3 floors here of what is now the lab. And then, well, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about what's going on up there. So let's go ahead and start with the new and improved front of the mountain base. So as you can see here, I opened up the front again. It is no longer boarded off with a little sign that says that an experiment or something went wrong. And there are now a bunch of iron doors here that look like they're open due to, well, if I actually close them, they wouldn't actually close all the way. So I had to leave them open to make them look even remotely nice. And then, as you can see, the mountain base, or the mountain lab now in this case, is actually not very... well, cobblestone and stone looking anymore. It is now consisting of a lot of dorite and generally white blocks. Like you can see there, we've got some quartz as well, and then we have a bunch of different types of dorite. Like we've got dorite, polished dorite, we've got dorite walls, and a bunch of other things. And of course, eventually up here will also be transformed to something that will resemble these this color palette down here. So, walking inside, the first thing that you can see is we have a lot more of a modern look now. As you can see, as I had said, the new color palette is mainly white, and I wanted it to be very clean and pristine looking. So, in the corners here, we currently have some of the new 1.16 nether. I believe these are actually twisting vines, if I'm not mistaken, and then we've got a sea lantern right above it, and then there's the same thing over here, of course. And then we have a little bit of a reception desk right here. I currently don't have anyone in it because I'm still working this whole entire general place out. I can hear a skeleton dying, but anyway, the back here, this is simply just split into 2 pieces. Eventually, I want to put villagers back here that will just be named like receptionist or something like that. And then to get into the new lab, you can actually just press this button, and it opens up one of these 2 iron doors. And here is the new look for the mountain base, or at least the mountain lab, I guess. So as you can see, the colors do generally stay the same. I built this part of the lab actually quite a long time ago when I was actually planning on doing a video and actually building this. That was supposed to come out as episode 8, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But this project ended up being a lot larger and a lot more expensive when it comes to resources than I was expecting. But overall, as you can see, the floor is made out of quartz. We've got an outline on the ceiling and the floor of polished diorite, and the walls are made of diorite. And then we have a light switch that does actually control the lights in here. Of course, and since these are sea lanterns out here, you can't actually turn those off. And then, well, that's why the lights stay on. Mobs do have a tendency to spawn in here, and the whole entire updated mob spawn rate of 1.16 is really not helping. But, yeah, so overall, I used a bunch of redstone lamps, which if I head to the next floor, which as you can see here, I have clogged up the ladder, because this is supposed to be somewhere you're not supposed to be able to go. But up here, you can see that we have a bit of redstone running around from the back of the light switch that is sitting there, and then that runs around to all of the redstone lamps through the hallway here and down through here. And here we actually have a bunch of redstone farms. So these two are actually pumpkin and melon farms. You can see the whole entire setup there. And then once the melon actually grows out of the plant, it is carried through this item stream and put down into some chests that are on the other, or the floor below us, that I will go ahead and walk down to right now. And the whole entire setup for this is actually a little bit hidden away, but not necessarily. As you can see here, this is basically just a normal room besides the switch in the corner, which actually opens up a whole entire line of chests. And this is where the redstone farms actually feed their product into. So as you can see, we have the sugarcane and bamboo farm that is sitting right about here on the floor above us. And then this is actually the chest for both the melons and the pumpkins. The melons or the pumpkins, one of the two when I was building this, was supposed to go into this one, but I couldn't get the water stream to go around long enough. And at the time, I didn't know how to extend water streams, so that is currently still, well, a lot in the works. And as I said, this whole entire project is going to take a lot longer than I had expected. But anyway, so there is the sort of first floor of the actual lab. And then through here, we actually have a sign that says floor number 1 aquatic study. And that is actually referring to the only sort of room that I have here. And if you guys have been around for a while, you should sort of recognize this room. Because way back when, this used to be mine and Deegan's room, because we shared a room in the mountain base at the time, because I didn't have anything built outside. I didn't even have the original mansion built yet. But once I had built the mansion, I moved out of here, and this room actually sat for quite a while. But since it had the water backing, I decided to make this aquatic study, and since, you know, water, aquatic, they go together. And then I recently looted and went through my very first ocean monument, which I found while just generally exploring my world, and got a bunch of the blocks that I could put on my little tables that I made up here, and got some floating tables, and some ones here in the center that are more generally actual tables with legs rather than being floating. And then once again, we do have a light switch in this room, so you can actually turn these lights off. And then they're a little bit delayed, but there are lights in there as well. And then moving around, this room is not even remotely finished. I don't have anything to do with it yet. But this is identical to the aquatic study room. Of course, the light switch is not on the right side, it's on the left side. And then the water backing obviously is not a water backing. This is just a normal stock room that I had to convert from the original room that this was when this was the mountain base. And then moving to the next floor. Now typically this would actually not be open as it was earlier, because the ladder actually goes down to a place that you're not supposed to be able to go to now, that isn't part of the lab. This is the original mountain base setup here. So you can see here we've actually got the levers that are holding the doors open on the entrance level, which you can hear those. For some reason that switch is going a bit crazy. But yeah, so there's the original crafting table. So there's some really old stuff hiding under here, and that is why I actually wanted this closed off, because it is strictly not part of the lab, and one of my bits of diorite went down there. But excluding this ladder, the way that you're actually meant to travel throughout the lab is actually through the staircase that I built for my actual vault back when we actually expanded this, and I believe, yeah, that was its own video, but the staircase was actually built outside of the episode, I believe. And then the way that you get to the next floor is just simply walk up here, and usually, originally, there was actually a pathway such as this right here, but that was actually removed due to this floor in front of me actually, of course, having all the redstone and stuff in front of it. And then here is the next floor. So this one is much the same setup, well, generally, with the same color palette and the same sort of blocks, actually making it up, of course, with the windows here that were actually put here when the mountain base was constructed. And then the balcony, of course, was changed a little bit to match the general colors of the ML, or the Mountain Lab now. And then this floor actually is a little bit different. It does have the same exact hallway and all that, and eventually there will be rooms here for different things that I'm going to study in this lab. And this does not have any switch for the redstone farms, because those are actually down there. You can hear it going off right there. And then this floor has some smaller rooms that were actually put in just because there was space here that was actually not used in the mountain base when this was the mountain base. And I actually had to refurbish these a little bit to actually work around the general footprint of this floor, but still make it look good. So I have some small rooms to study some general, like, small things. So we've got one redstone lamp in either room, and then the one on the other side is almost exactly the same. Well, actually, perpendicular, exactly the same, excluding being on different sides. And with that, that is all I have done on the actual MLJ chest right now. But I really want to continue working on this, so do expect some episodes speaking about this in the future, even if it is clipped into the end of a different topic on the episode. But I will be talking about this in the future. And now let's go ahead and quickly talk about what I was actually mentioning at the beginning of today's episodes, when I was actually saying that I needed to find out how to actually work out the redstone and the lamps and all that for up here. Because these are what I actually originally called the suites, and I want these big open rooms to be, well, big and open, because I want them to be useful, and, well, obviously they have a great view, and I want to be able to use them for that. But unfortunately, obviously with the whole entire lighting setup that I actually have set up right now, as you can see with actually one of these floors, it actually got quite modified, and I don't know how I'm going to work it out yet. But this is all of the lighting for floor 2 of the MLJ chest, or the Mountain Lab Joel Hummy show. And with that, I don't really know how I'm going to work this out, because obviously it's quite ugly with redstone lines running all over the place. But I'm going to try my best to work it out, and maybe I'll just have to just, like, work literally around this and make separate rooms that work around this whole entire area. But, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This has been quite a rambly one, because I didn't really have much of a idea going into this video. I just wanted to speak about this whole entire thing that I'm working on, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to finish it due to the problems going on up there that I have to work out. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's video,